What's going on, guys? I hope everybody's having a great day. So today I'm going to be ranking the entire Splinter Cell franchise, which is arguably my favorite game franchise of all time. Though it really depends on I guess it really depends on my mood, because you asked me on Monday, Ghost Recon is my favorite franchise. You asked me on Tuesday, it's Splinter Cell. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I was scrolling through my news feed on Facebook and I see that a brand new Splinter Cell game has been announced. And it's being, developed by Ubisoft, and Ubisoft has this big boner right now for making everything open world. So what that tells me is that we're going to be getting an open world Splinter Cell game. And I don't think that's an idea that's going to fly with a lot of Splinter Cell fans. But I thought about this for a day, and I think I'm going to go ahead and rank the franchise as of now, and then when the new one comes out, I'll probably re-rank the franchise with that one included. So let's go ahead and get into this. I own all of them. And dead last, this is from worst to best. Dead last, we've got Splinter Cell Double Agent version 1. This is really the only game in the franchise that doesn't really bring me any enjoyment whatsoever. From its storyline, you have Sam, whose daughter was killed in a car wreck, and then the way he deals with his deep, dark depression is enlisting for another mission. That makes no sense. And they introduced the concept of trust into this, where you're in good with two different factions, and the choices you make throughout the game affects the trust with one faction. It fucks it up on one side and makes it better on the other side, and vice versa. There's 2 meters, and I don't know, I don't think it was done very well in this game. This game was a game that could have been good, in my opinion, but it just really wasn't. But, this came out when the 7th gen consoles first came out, and I don't think the developers knew how to fully utilize the hardware. But I will tell you this game runs like shit on 7th gen consoles, and it's even worse on PC. Just it runs like shit. It looks like a fucking slideshow a good portion of the time. It's just it struggles to keep a consistent frame rate. This game, going back to this version of this game, was rough. I mean, rough. So yeah, that's why that game is dead last. Now, next we've got Splinter Cell Double Agent version 2 on the original Xbox. I think personally that this game is a better game than its Xbox 360 version. I think this is a better game. I think that the level design is a lot better. The story is remotely the same. There's a couple differences here and there. And the trust bar, I still don't think they pulled off the trust thing, because you only get 1 bar instead of 2 bars in this version. I just don't think they really pulled it off in either game. But the reason I think I like this one better is that it feels more like a Splinter Cell game. This feels more like the original trilogy of Splinter Cell games. Now, it doesn't feel exactly like it, but it does feel more in line with the original trilogy of Splinter Cell games. I think that's why I rank this one above the 360 version. I had never played this version until this year. I had played the 360 version when it first came out, but I had never played this version until this year. So it was kind of nice getting to experience a Splinter Cell game that I'd never played before. But ultimately, it's this one, as opposed to this version. This game, I would say, is actually good, whereas this one, I wouldn't say it's good, but it's definitely, both of them are one of them are definitely worth checking out. Alright, so now we've got Splinter Cell Conviction. This is a very polarizing game, and I want to say, I like this game. I do like Splinter Cell Conviction. It's not my favorite. I think that it's a good action, modernized third-person shooter. It's just not a very good Splinter Cell game. This game revolves around high-octane action, just violence, 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 kill, 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 and all of it's fun, and I enjoy this game. It just doesn't feel like the tactical, stealth, espionage, spy, sort of. It doesn't have that feeling that the other games had. But I can still say it's a good game. The storyline is garbage, where you have a guy trying to assassinate the president, and you remember that, I don't know, in Double Agent, it was, I think I mentioned her daughter was killed in a car crash. This game, no, that didn't happen. She's still alive. It doesn't explain why, but she's still alive. At least I don't remember it explaining why. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, yeah. Splinter Cell Conviction, it's good. It's fine. You should play it. It's just not a Splinter Cell game. Or, I mean, it's a Splinter Cell game. It just doesn't have that feeling of Splinter Cell. But that's just my personal opinion. Alright. Now we're on to the most recent entry into this franchise, which is quite a while now. It's going about 9 years now. We got Splinter Cell Blacklist. The only complaint I really have about this game is that Michael Ironside didn't reprise his role as Sam Fisher, but he was dealing with cancer, and that's ultimately more important than a video game. But I will say, this game feels like Splinter Cell again. This game went back to the roots of Splinter Cell. Though, I do have one gripe with this game. And it's you can now in this game choose your playing style. So you can play as, a ghost, a panther, or brutal assault. And the whole brutal assault thing kind of aggravates me a little bit, because I understand that it's a choice, but there are certain parts in this game where it just feels like that's forced upon you, and the only way you can get out of a situation is going through brutal assault. And to me, that's just not Splinter Cell. But everything else about this game feels like Splinter Cell. It feels like Splinter Cell updated to, current gen, which at the time this was current gen. Not current gen anymore, way past this being current gen, but this is still a really good game, and it still really holds up to this day. So, I definitely think that this is a great Splinter Cell game, aside from a couple things. Or I'd say it's a good Splinter Cell game, whereas these other two ones that I said they weren't good Splinter Cell games, this is a good Splinter Cell game. Alright, now we're on to the great Splinter Cell games. We got Splinter Cell, Pandora, Tomorrow. Now, for a long time, this actually used to be my favorite Splinter Cell game, but going back and replaying it, it does have some flaws. There is some issues with the game. There are some issues regarding, I feel like the AI enemies, they're very quick and very easy to spot you, and that really aggravated me upon this replay. And if you're going to replay this game, do not play the remastered version. Play this version. The remastered version is pitiful. This version, you can probably find this for about $5. $4 or $5 at most. But there were also some things they added in this game that I really did like. I think this is the game where it was the game where you could be crawling on a pipe, and then you could use your gun to shoot people while hanging from the pipe, though you couldn't do that in the first game. So the improvements that this game made, I don't think they're ever going to age. I think that this is a great Splinter Cell game. A great Splinter Cell game. And it's the second one. This is definitely an amazing sequel. So yeah. Alright. I was going to say this might be where this gets controversial, but then again, knowing a lot of Splinter Cell fans, this might be just okay. This might be fine with people, but second, I'm going to put the original Splinter Cell. And I think this game, going back and replaying it, is really good. This is a really good game. This is actually a great game. But I don't think they realized what they had with this at the time. I mean, this is the first game. I really like the storyline. I also really like the storyline of Pandora Tomorrow as well, and Blacklist. But the storyline here is actually really good. It's you're trying to stop this Georgian terrorist from doing terrorist shit, but it's really fun. And there were a couple moments though that really frustrated me in this game. This game is fucking hard. This is a very difficult game. Especially the one where I'm trying to sneak into I don't remember if it was some kind of embassy or it was some kind of government lab, or I don't remember what it was. But I would run out of ammunition all the time. And the biggest problem with the game is, I'm getting to that right now, the biggest problem with the game is that it forces you into these high octane kind of combat situations, but you can tell the game's not really designed for that. you get into these full-scale shootouts, and the control scheme and all that's just not designed for this kind of game. But overall, I remember my first time playing this, and I saw it at this game store, and it looked really intriguing, but it wasn't what I expected it to be, and it was a good thing, because I expected this to be like, you know, your action James Bond kind of spy game at first, but it wasn't that. It was this stealthy, you know, tactical espionage spy. I've already, you know, it blew my mind, and I played all the sequels, and I thought the sequels, well, the first three at the time, the original trilogy only existed, but this opened me up to, like I said, one of my favorite game franchises of all time. So I have nothing but respect for this game. But there is one that comes after it. This is the best, in my opinion. This is one I think they fully realized what they had with Splinter Cell, and they knocked it out of the fucking park with this game. We got Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Just an absolute fucking masterpiece of a game. This is a combination of everything I like in Splinter Cell, and one of the biggest things I like about it is that this game doesn't have anything that I dislike in it. Everything, the voice acting, the story, the new knife. You get Sam's new knife. That thing is beast. And just the stealth gameplay. The stealth is the best utilized in the franchise. Whereas I thought some of the later games, like Double Agent and Conviction, they kind of did away with the amazingly utilized stealth. This is the game where if you're a player that has like a big boner for stealth, then if you've not played this game, you need to play it. I'd suggest playing the first two before, but I wouldn't even suggest playing the other games after this if you don't have that much, if you don't show that much interest in this franchise. At least play the first three if you're into stealth. But yeah, this is definitely the best in the franchise, in my personal opinion. But that's just my personal opinion. So if you've played this franchise, what's your ranking? What's your favorite? What's your least favorite? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. Peace.